one of the things that I think has always helped me get business for this agency is that I have a body of work that's very visible that's not done for a client. Client work is great, you know, it pays the bills, but a lot of times what ends up, you know, getting in front of the public is a slightly less courageous, more watered down version of what you ideally would have done. For me, having the Obey Giant campaign that I can do exactly the way I want it has, you know, brought in a lot of work, and also that you know, I've done some fairly high-profile album cover projects and things like that. So I get the euphoric association with the band or whatever, which is always really helpful. But you know, one of the things I always tried to do, and you can't when you're struggling to survive always do this, but to do the kinds of projects that if someone saw them and asked me to do something else like that, I wouldn't cringe. You know, so always trying to do things that will be shaping, you know, the demand for my work, for the studio's work, as things that we are excited to do that that really showcase our you know, our areas of strength, and yeah, that's important. But also, I think that desktop publishing has made it really easy for people to be like, well, my nephew's got a computer, he can do that wicked easy, you know? And I mean, I've heard close to that from people, like, you want to charge what? You know, but then when you point out, you know, this background was actually a hand-done collage with spray paint stencils and patterns that were screen printed, and this was illustrated, and this... Then all of a sudden they start to go, I don't know if my nephew can do that, you know? So it's you know, the idea of doing things that you can demonstrate are not typical, not okay. It's a filter. It's whatever that anybody can get it. You know, it's oh, I know that typeface. I mean, we customize type here a lot. You know, we work from digital fonts that we then convert to outlines and, you know, add serifs or turn into a stencil. And we also find old type specimen books, and we've created a huge library of, you know, of type that we can use for our projects. I'm good friends with the guys from House Industries. Do you guys know House? I mean, they make amazing type, and they're great designers. But they actually kind of they've shot themselves in the foot as a design agency, because the moment they release a typeface out into the world, it means that when they use it in their own design work, it doesn't look as special. And so what we've decided to do is we'll use their fonts and change them, and then we'll come up with our own that we don't release, and we get win-win here, you know. But I mean, no, I'm sort of kidding, because they're amazing. They do really good work, and they do custom stuff. But the you know, the idea that you can provide something that you can't just get easily, I think, is really important. And then also just the you know, even though I've said I think it's important for us to get work that is the kind of work that we want to get, that looks like our style. There's also understanding where, you know, you need to put some of your specific aesthetic prejudices aside to come up with a solution that works best for the client. Because understanding what the client wants and being sensitive to their pre-existing brand legacy, their image, what the product is they're selling, who they're marketing it to, and saying, well, you know, I'm not a raver, but they're trying to hit ravers, so we're gonna have to weave that through what we do. You know, there's a lot of sound graphic principles that I think end up being utilized no matter what this sort of specific aesthetic manifestation is. You know, it'd be nice to have a couple of things side by side, but I think that Russian constructivist posters and psychedelic art posters sound like they're completely different, but I bring influences from both into my work, and it feels, and it ends up feeling not schizophrenic. So, you know, the idea that you could, that you could figure out a way to use the strong principles you believe in, but just think about how to alter the ingredients slightly, alter the color palette, whatever. There's a lot to that, I think, in terms of coming up with a solution for a client. But really, there's, like I said, there's a lot we could talk about. So I think the important thing is to know what you guys want to know. Oh, and lastly, always, if you're with an agency, especially now with very rapid metabolism of culture and so much media diversity and a lot to look at, a lot to be stimulated by, the idea of making things that people remember, whether it's the work for the client or your promotional materials that you're sending out. I mean, you might have a split second of somebody getting spammed and going, by your company and going, delete, or that intrigues me. And so one of the problems that I've encountered with both with designers who are want to achieve a lot and clients that want to achieve a lot is too many different things trying to come together in one piece and then all canceling each other out. That one of my principles in my work is reduce things to their most important essence and then accentuate that. Use whatever you can do to make that powerful, beautiful, and essential. Have everyone really look at that and eliminate everything superfluous, and that's how to make the work memorable. There's memorable work that's more ornate, that's busier, that's more complicated, but maybe in the idea it's simple and powerful. There's a lot of different ways to achieve that. I'm not saying that my aesthetic is the right way. I'm just saying that as an idea, I think it's extremely important. So yeah.